Hello friends, welcome on 100 on 100 Eco platform. Today I will be taking up chapter Market for Standard 10th ICSE. In this chapter, I'm going to take up the meaning of market, the definition of market, some special features related to the definition, and then the types of market. And under that, each type of market will be discussing the features. So let's start by understanding the definition of market. Market in our day-to-day language, we actually visualize a place where it's very crowded with people. There are many sellers, there are many vendors selling many commodities, and typically we would imagine a place which is near to the market, which is near to the station. In case of economics, it's not restricted to a geographical area. It can be spread over a wide distance also. As long as buyer and seller can come in contact, we can call it a market, irrespective of the distance between them. Another special feature about the market definition in economics is that we define market with respect to one commodity. So one commodity has got one market in economics. Another feature is that buyers and sellers come in contact with one another and they are in competition. There are so many buyers that they compete with one another. There are so many sellers, they also compete with one another. So there is a competition between sellers and competition between buyers. But what for? Is it a drawing competition or is it a singing competition? Well, the sellers compete between one another in order to grab the maximum market share in terms of number of units sold. Every firm wants to sell the maximum number and they want to have the biggest market share. Buyers want to purchase that much quantity as they have planned and they desire to purchase because the goods are in short supply, and if you compare it with the total aggregate demand by the buyers, then you would see that the goods are in short supply. Okay, so therefore buyers compete between one another in order to grab the quantity desired as per their planned purchases. So let's see the definition. Market in economics refers to the whole area where buyers and sellers of a commodity are in competition with one another to effect purchase and sale of commodity. Now, to effect purchase and sale of commodity means buyer and seller should agree on common terms of trade or common terms of transaction. That is what is meant by to effect purchase and sale of a commodity. Let's revise the definition again. Market in economics means the whole area where buyers and sellers of a commodity are in competition with one another to effect purchase and sale of a commodity. Okay. Now we shall move ahead and try to understand the types of market structures. The market structures are classified on the basis of degree of competition. We just now saw how there is a competition between sellers and how there is a competition between buyers. The degree of competition can vary. There could be high competition, there could be low competition. Depending on the degree of competitiveness, the market structures can be classified into perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, and oligopoly. Now, these market structures exist only in capitalist economy and not in socialist economy, because we are talking about a market structure where there is free demand and free supply, and the producers and the consumers are free to take decision, and the allocation of resources takes place according to the demand and supply, which is the case in case of a capitalist economy. If you can recollect the concept that you learnt in standard 9th. In a socialist economy, government is the only producer, so there cannot be anything like a market because government will be the only seller. Okay, so we are talking about a capitalist economy wherein the market can be divided, classified on the basis of degree of competitiveness, like these 4 categories. So let's start by seeing the perfect competition. Perfect competition is a competition which is perfect. It's like a model. It does not exist actually in the real life, and but then 1 or 2 examples are there. You will say, Miss, why are we learning if it does not exist? It has no practical implication. We have to learn the model in order to understand how does the realistic or the real market structure deviate from the model. So in order to understand the difference between the perfect model and difference between what is existing, we need to define what is perfect. So let us understand the definition of perfect competitive market. Perfect competition is a market structure where there are large number of buyers and sellers selling identical product. So there are two things that are mentioned in the definition of perfect competition. There are very large number of buyers and sellers, and the sellers are selling identical product. Yeah, that I mean to say, when I said market of one commodity, one market, if I'm talking about a market related to mobile phones, all mobile phones are exactly identical. There is no difference in features. If all are Android, all are Android. Okay, so I'm talking about a market structure which is perfect competition, wherein all the firms are selling same product. Okay, and the example to be given of a perfect competitive market is the agricultural produce. Typically, in case of wheat and rice, you can see that the grains are same. There's not a difference between wheat that's grown by one farmer and the wheat grown by another farmer. And there are a large number of sellers, because in a developing country there are many farmers who produce wheat and rice. So we can classify production of wheat and rice into perfect competitive market structure. Let us take a look at the features of perfect competition. Very large number of buyers and sellers. Now each feature has got some implication or significance. What does a very large number of buyers and sellers mean? Very large number of sellers means that one seller's contribution towards the total market supply is very small. If in the total market there are 50 lakh TV sets being sold, and if there are 5,000 firms, how much would be the share of every firm? 500, right? So therefore we can say that each firm actually contributes a very small share in the total market supply, and therefore the seller has no power to influence price. He becomes a price taker. Similarly, buyers have no influence on the price. When you go in the market, you bargain. You cannot bargain in perfect competition. You cannot say कि भैया मैं ज़्यादा खरीदती हूँ, मुझको discount दे दो. You know, that kind of thing does not happen in case of perfect competition, because no seller will entertain that. Buyer cannot say that because I'm buying a huge quantity, you will have to sell it to me for a lesser price. No, that is not the case. So because of very large number of buyers, buyers also become price taker and sellers also become price takers. This is the significance of very large number of buyers and sellers. Homogeneous product. The product sold by every firm is identical. If we talk about automobile, every car is same. The make, the features, the engine capacity, everything, color also is the same. So in terms of in case of a homogeneous product, the color, design, shape, size, flavor, quality, everything, all the aspects of the commodity are identical. In my notes, I've given the definition of homogeneous product, or what is homogeneous as such. You can refer to that. I just said it means that those products which are identical in case of quality, quantity, shape, size, color, design, packing, everything. So what is the implication of homogeneous product? Because the products are homogeneous, what happens is the buyer has got no preference that he will buy this firm's product over that firm's product. They have no preference. It doesn't make a difference. They are indifferent. They will just go to the supermarket, they buy the product irrespective of which companies or which brands it is, because all products are identical. And therefore what happens is no seller can think about charging more or less. It doesn't happen कि I can say मेरा प्रोडक्ट थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट है, मेरा प्रोडक्ट में इतना ये क्वालिटी ज़्यादा है, तो आई कैन चार्ज लिटिल हायर और आई कैन चार्ज लिटिल लेसर. It does not happen because all the products are identical, homogeneous. So no producer has any reason to charge higher or lower, and that gives rise to uniform price. Homogeneous products leads to uniform price in the market. Coming to the free entry and exit, any outside firm. Have I told you the difference between firm and industry in supply chapter? Yes. Firm is a single production unit. Industry comprises of all the firms producing the same product. So in the industry, any outside firm can enter and start producing the same commodity and start supplying and making profits. Similarly, any firm which is existing in the industry, if they find they can leave the industry, shut down the business and go out of the industry. So entering into the industry or exiting out of the industry, a particular product, a particular product's market, anybody can enter, anybody can leave the market, anybody can enter the industry, anybody can leave the industry. And because of this, every firm in the long run, over a long period of time, can earn only normal profits. You will say, what is normal profits, ma'am? Yes, if there are normal profits, there must be something known as abnormal profits also. So let's see that. Suppose by chance, the existing firms are earning fantastic profits. That's supernormal profits. Looking at the supernormal profits being earned by the existing firms, बाहर के 2, 4, 6, 5 कोई firms, they decided to join this industry. They ventured a new business by entering into the production of this commodity because they saw existing producer are making fantastic profits. So industry में new entry हो गया. So with the new entry of say 4 new firms, the market share of the existing firms got divided, got reduced. If earlier their market share was X, now it becomes X minus something because the share has been now further divided. The quotient has increased. And similarly, as the market share reduces, the share in the profit also reduces because the rest of the firms also start sharing the profit. So supernormal profits get turned into normal profits. On a similar note, if any firm wants to leave the industry, they can leave the industry. If the firm was, all the firms were incurring losses, 2-4 लोग छोड़ भी जाते हैं, तो losses कम हो जाएंगे, and losses will turn into profits because some people left, so the market share increased. Market share increased, profits increased. So by entry and exit being free, in the long run, eventually the firms or the sellers earn only normal profits. That's the significance. Perfect knowledge on the part of buyers and sellers about the prevailing market conditions. And what are the market conditions? That they are aware of what are the prices being charged in the other part of the region, in the other part of the country. All the buyers are aware, all the sellers are also aware of what are the terms of sale and purchase and transaction that are being entered into with the buyers. Everybody knows everything. In reality, it is not the case. Do you know at what price petrol is being sold in another state? No, the petrol prices differ from state to state. But in case of perfect competition, we assume that there's a perfect knowledge on the part of the buyers as well as sellers, and therefore its implication is that perfect knowledge on the part of buyers and sellers lead to uniform price. So if all the producers know that this is the price being charged there, they will also charge the same price here. So there is no reason once again for any firm to charge higher or lower because the others will copy, because all the others have knowledge about the prices being charged in the other parts of the country. So having knowledge about everything leads to uniformity in the price or single price prevailing in the market. The next feature I think will continue in the next session. So in today's session we have covered up very large number of buyers and sellers, which results in sellers and buyers being price taker. Homogeneous product, which results in single price. Free entry and exit, which results in normal profits being earned in the long run. And perfect knowledge on the part of buyers and sellers, which results in again single price prevailing in the market. The rest of the features we will continue in the next class.